secure in the knowledge that you won't have some psycho kids that have nothing better to do than destroy the nice things they can, that have nothing better to do than destroy the nice things they can't have. You believe they won't leave their tenements. They'll get and rip away everything you all do.
Joe, you gotta slow down a little bit.
You believe they won't leave their tenements. They'll get up and rip away everything you all do. But maybe you feel it. But maybe you do feel it. Maybe when you drive through the ghetto and a bunch of thugs look at your... Maybe when you drive through the ghetto and a bunch of thugs look at your nice suit, your fine car, your beautiful wife, maybe you feel it then, where I am right now. I don't have a nice suit or a nice car. I only have Shelley. I think they feel me as much as I feel them. I wonder if they hate me as much as I hate them. I hate them for what they are. Not race, not creed, no, because of what they are. Entropy embodied. They, to me, are an idiot chaos. Born and prone to destruction. Youth wasted on ruining lives. Do you want... Youth wasted on ruining lives. Do you understand? God help you if you do.
Let me just ask you a specific question about that.
Yes.
I didn't quite follow.
Sorry about that.
Entropy embodied.
Yeah.
They, to me, are an idiot chaos. Very profound, but what in the world does it mean?
Just the whole destruction for destruction's sake.
What are you referring to, or who are you referring to?
These. Just these people who that's all they do is just destroy and take and just, they don't care, they just...
They don't what?
They don't care, it's just... I'm not actually referring to anybody in specific at this point, I don't think. I think the whole people climbing up the balcony and stuff has kind of set me on a sort of overall grumpy mood, where I'm sitting here and reflecting that, getting angry about, I don't know, people who just don't care, who just would destroy stuff just to destroy stuff.
Did you see these kids actually destroy anything?
No, I don't even think I was actually specifically talking about these kids. So...
when you, growing up, I mean, obviously you weren't wealthy, right?
Yeah.
Was there any kind of a feeling of like, us against them, all these rich people that have it better than me, they must have really easy lives? You have any feeling like that?
Well, not so much us against them, it's more of, there was the awareness that we were these, just worthless people who were kind of living off of them, that they knew that and really kind of hate us for it. That there was the view that, you know, I was a parasite, that I and us were just, you know, my family were just these worthless people who didn't contribute anything to society or do anything of value. And it's, I don't know, I mean, it's not everybody, but there was enough people, I mean, even my teachers who would go point out that, okay, yeah, you have these welfare people who are these worthless people who just sit there and they just leech and they don't add anything, they don't contribute anything. So...
A teacher actually made a comment about that?
There was a number of teachers that were like that, yeah. They just, you know, that was one of the reasons that I ended up like leaving school, because it's like, they resented me, they actually didn't want me though.
And part of it was this discussion of being on welfare, is that it?
Just, yeah, you know, that I was this worthless poor person, you know?
I'm sorry.
Worthless poor person.
let me have you pick up and read the next journal entry there that begins
Okay.
9/8/2003, and if you would just read that next entry, please.
Okay. Haven't had to kill anyone yet, so I guess things aren't all bad. Unfortunately, we still don't have a gun. I'd feel a lot better if we did. I'm so stressed right now. Anyway, Shell goes back to work tonight.
Let me interrupt you for a second. You're so stressed. You were working at Target at the time?
Yes.
And the stress was coming from what?
These people who were climbing the balcony and acting like psychos.
And doing what?
And acting like psychos.
Okay. If you would please continue reading.
Okay. Anyway, Shell goes back to work tonight, and it'll probably be a couple more days until we get some firepower. That bothers me. We were going to get the gun that Scott had, but Ryan took it back just when we needed it. We wasted all yesterday waiting to find that out. I was hoping we'd be armed instead of the best we have is a half-sharp sword and a nice knife. Half-sharp sword and a nice knife. Oh, and my wards. They seem to be working well so far, for the sake of all involved. Let's hope they hold.
And your wards.
Yeah, not wards, not W-O-R-D-S, but wards, W-A-R-D-S.
W-A-R-D-S?
Yeah.
Okay, now Dr. Dutton talked about this. Please, if you would, tell us about wards.
It's a form of, it's just burial, it's a kind of spiritual burial to go and keep. The whole idea is to keep people, you create a consequence burial, right?
You create a consequence burial?
Yeah, to put it in the best way, simplest way that I can. It's not something that I've really spent a lot of time trying to explain or trying to figure out exactly how to explain. What it is trying to keep negative energy and negativity from, not negativity, but if you cross this line, then trying to go off like do something bad, then something bad would happen to you, and I don't want that. I don't want anything bad to happen to me, and I don't want anything bad. You don't want anything bad to happen to you, and likewise. So don't, it's. And yet I don't actually go out and like say, "Hey, guy," it's just, it's kind of a spiritual construct.
A spiritual construct. Well, how do you make a ward? How do you ward something? I mean, is this like Harry Potter protecting his tent when he was running from the bad guys?
No, it's, I don't think so anyway. No, it's just, focused, energy, that's all.
Well, how do you do it? Like, let's say you wanted to protect this table. How do you ward it?
You would focus on what you don't want to happen to it, right? And focus on drawing energy into kind of a weave around it, a weave around it, to sort of weave or mesh around it of consequence of, okay, well, I don't want somebody to go and like break this table, because if you break this table, then the table you broke, and then you'd have to go off and like pay for a new one, and you don't want to have to pay for a new one, and I don't want to have a broken table, so.
So do you have a wand or something? I mean, what do you do?
No, it's entirely internal, actually.
Okay, so that's a ward. There was also a reference to binding.
A binding is sort of like a ward, but it's more, ward is kind of place specific. It's stationary, whereas a binding is more person specific, where you're actually focused. More person specific. What you're actually doing is you're focusing on a particular person and trying to constrain them from taking wrong action. that would go and that would be destructive.
How long have you been warding and binding?
At least since Arizona. Probably before then.
Arizona?
Yeah, probably
Which
before
time
then.
in Arizona?
At least it's the second time.
What got you started on this?
I have no idea. I think most of this is stuff that Crow showed me how to do.
Does Sylvia Brown mention this stuff?
I don't know. Not in the ones that I read. The most that I got from Sylvia Brown is some backup to some of the things that Crow had said, and
Some what?
some reinforcement to some of the things that Crow had said, but my views mostly came from what Crow told me, or showed me, not from Sylvia Brown. Sylvia Brown was something that Michelle had gotten her ideas from, not me, not really.
But you read some of those books, right?
Of course, I bought several of those books as well.
You bought Michelle some of those books?
Yes.
Let's go back to the bindings and wardings. Is this something,
Okay.
I mean, clearly you were doing this stuff, at least you wrote about it in 2003, right?
Yes.
Did you continue doing it after then?
Yes.
So if you could bind somebody so that they couldn't hurt you, is that it?
That was the idea, yeah.
Was there any discussion of like, hey, let's bind the Anderson rather than shooting you?
There was a lot of discussion of alternatives to this, and I mean, even up to the point where I'm like, look, we just leave, I mean, we just get out of here. She's like, no, I can't do that. You might be able to just walk away from trouble, but I can't just, sorry, this is how she put it, I can't just take it like in the ass like a bitch and just, deal with it. These people owe me,
Okay. So you did continue warding and binding after 2003?
Yes.
Okay. Let's move on to the next entry here. And that is on page 5443. You can skip forward to see the production numbers there. Do you see the
5443?
Yeah, 5443.
Okay. Okay.
And the date on that, in the middle of the page?
5/12/5.
So does that refer to 2005?
Yes.
Okay. And by 2005, where were you living?
By this time, I must have been living at Meridian Ridge. I'm not certain, but that's what I
Let me
assume.
flip back for a second to 5431.
Okay. Okay.
Top of the page. What's the date on that page?
9:22 p.m.
So 04, 2004?
Yes.
Why don't you read, well, just start reading and I'll stop.
Okay. It's been a while since I've said anything here. I guess I should start with the state of my life. We just brought up with the state of my life.
Just go a little slower, Joe.
Okay, I'm sorry. We just bought a house. It's pretty nice. The neighbors are retards with staring problems, but whatever. Are retards with staring problems, but whatever.
With what problems?
Staring problems.
Staring problems.
Yes.
Now, so 9/22/2004, you just bought a house. Where was it you bought a house?
That was actually in Fall City.
Okay. So we established that you moved from Kent Terrace to Meridian Ridge at the end of September 2003,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then it sounds like you moved to Fall City at the end of September 2004. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, as soon as our year was up, we moved.
Okay. Did you live with Wayne and Judy at all first for a short time?
Yeah, we did actually.
Okay. So now you're living in Fall City. Let's go back to the first page, or not the first page, but the last page I was talking about, 5443.
Okay.
So in the date on that, you said it was 5/12/2005?
Yes.
So is it safe to conclude that you were still at Fall City at that point?
Yes.
And approximately when did you move into Judy and Wayne's single wide, the 1910 address? Approximately when did you move into there?
I'd say something like a year after we had moved into the, after we moved to Fall City. About a year or so later.
So, fall of 2006 or winter of 2006,
I
2007?
think fall or winter, yeah, of 2006.
Okay. So,
I don't
would
know.
you then, in this entry under 5/12/2005, would you read starting at the last full paragraph on that page above I mentioned?
Okay. Above I mentioned how nice it was to spend time with Shell without fighting. Here I'll mention what this week improved. That a lot of fights were my fault. I know, rocket science. That a lot of the fights were my fault. I know, rocket science. But consciously or not, I'd often looked at our problems as being, I'm sorry. But consciously or not, I'd often looked at our problems as being a direct result of full volatility. My own thoughtlessness didn't help anything. Focusing is helping. I've started talking better as well. I have this tendency to talk fast, not pronounce things fully, and to get quiet, especially around Shell. Simple enough reason, I was scared of him. I'm getting better though. Maybe eventually I'll even be a good person. Who knows? Time to get to my homework.
Why were you scared of Michelle? Had she been beating you or something?
No, it's, she would be difficult when she was upset. She was somebody who, when she had been upset, she would feel that she had not only the right but the necessity to lash back as hard as possible to make sure that whatever mistake you made, you didn't make again. And so this could take hours of attack, basically a verbal attack. So to make sure that you understood just how badly you had screwed up and why it mattered. And anytime you made a mistake, everything that you had, she had this view that she was basically like a clean slate, where I was like, okay, every time we've got a problem, once we've settled it, then that's all clear. But as soon as something else comes up, then we're going to go off and all that comes back up again. And, you know, it doesn't seem like such a big deal, I guess, in some ways, but it's one of those things where my entire meaning, my entire value was just how useful I am, how much I could do for her, and how much basically how useful I was. And the only person whose opinion of me really mattered was this person. And if this person thinks, if I'm completely letting down this person and just letting down this person and just making life hard for her, then what exactly is my point then? I mean, I'm just a complete up and up failure at that point then, aren't I?
Why don't you go ahead to page 5448.
Okay.
Okay.
And by the way, one of the things that we would fight about a lot, one of the things that I would get in trouble about, that she would get angry about a lot, was just having a hard time understanding me or hearing me. So that was actually something that made her very angry. So
Did you ever talk about maybe we should go to counsel?
we couldn't phone that, even if I had thought of it, but I didn't think of it. So no.
Was it something that she ever brought up?
No, we never thought about it. We never brought that up. It's just, it was more of, okay, look, this is your problem, fix it.
You didn't have health insurance through your job at Target or anything like that?
Well, no.
Were you working constantly at Target throughout the whole time after you got to Seattle?
Not constantly.
Just give us a brief overview of your work.
There was, when I first came out, I was off for about a month waiting for the HR guy to come in. So
but then you started working in Target.
Hmm?
And where was that Target located?
That was in Kent.
And you testified the other day that you could walk there from Kent Terrace?
Yes.
Could you walk there from Meridian Ridge also?
Yes, and I did.
All right. When did you stop working at the Kent Target and why?
So when we moved to in with our parents, I ended up basically having to quit though, so that we could make that move because honestly I wasn't down the street anymore. We basically moved. I basically had to quit though because we weren't down the street anymore. So
this is when you moved from Kent to Carnation?
Yes.
Briefly before you moved to the trailer park in Fall City?
Yes.
And then you were too far to walk to Kent at that point?
Yes.
Did you ever, where was the next Target you worked at?
The next Target I worked at was, I think it was Redmond, actually.
Okay. And where were you living when you worked at the Redmond Target?
I was living at, I was living in Fall City at that point.
Okay, and we established that you moved to Fall City at the end of September '04?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and you think you moved to the trailer at 1910 in late '06 or early '07, is that right?
Yeah. I ended up quitting a while before that, though. The reason being that we were concerned about the neighbors and whatnot.
I'll talk to you about that. Let's
Okay.
try to establish a loose timeline.
Okay. No, I'm just saying that I was off for a couple of months prior to that.
Okay. Did you work at Third Target in the Seattle area?
Yes, I did.
And where was that located?
It was in Issaquah.
And approximately when did you work there?
I worked there from... I worked there for about 6 months, I believe.
Approximately when?
So I'm trying to work it right now. Sometime during the sometime during the spring, I believe, of 2007 to the Saturday right after Thanksgiving.
Of 2007?
Of 2007, yes.
So you worked at that Target until a month before the incidents at that city, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let's go back to this journal. I know there's a lot going on here, but it's important to hear all this. The entry on page 5448,
Okay.
and the date on that is
The one at the top or the
the
second
one
one?
in the middle.
Okay. 6/5/2005.
Okay. Would you start reading with the second paragraph there?
Okay. I try, but not hard enough, not consistently. Another fight today, as usual. None of us are, in my opinion, particularly good communicators. I'll make an obscure reference because I'm just so, fucking clever. She won't get it and either want me to repeat it or define it. I usually end up doing the opposite. Usually because I don't understand what she's getting hung up on. This always ends badly. For example, today we came across some old tea that had a scour of mold on the top. Some old tea? Somebody had left a cup of tea at her mom's house, actually. That had a scour of mold on the top. I took that because of the mold, it was antibiotic. I had no clue that she didn't know penicillin was common food mold. So, when she told me she wasn't getting it, I told her penicillin was an antibiotic and that the tea was moldy. Still, she wasn't getting it, and I had no clue why she wasn't. So we both tried again. So, what does mold have to do with antibiotics? Well, penicillin is an antibiotic. I'm not even going to pretend I'm not a dumbass for not just saying, well, penicillin is an antibiotic mold. It wasn't until the third try that third person, that is Judy, understood what she was getting at and made the connection. I'd given up as usual by the second try, and as usual, that wasn't allowed. I would explain this. I will make some sense. I would explain this. I will make some sense. Then I will catch hell. I really wish she just hit me for an hour after all these things instead of tearing me down and wondering why I hate myself, why I'm self-destructive.
Okay, and then let me, following that, there's the entry that was already read into the record about feeling like you were raped?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I want you just to flip to the next page, which is page 5450.
Mm-hmm.
And just read the last, because you talk about this feeling of being raped, and then read that just last little paragraph before you signed off. I look forward.
I look forward to jail. I could just break from the hatred. What was I thinking?
You look forward to jail?
Yeah.
So here this is, I mean, it's June of 2005, right?
Yeah.
Where did that thought come from, or if you recall, what was your thought process as you wrote that?
You mean the part about jail?
Yes?
I do not recall, no. I can tell you it certainly was about what actually ended up putting me in jail, though. It certainly was not about the massacre. It had nothing, I had not even had any thoughts of that at all.
Killing her family had not been something that was discussed yet?
Well, she discussed killing them. She liked to talk about how angry she was and how much she wanted to go off and kill pretty much everybody.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, she had a lot of anger and a lot of hatred, and she thought that the best way to act on that would be to go off and kill people and to make them respect who she was, even though she was, again, I mean, this was a view that even though she's this little fat girl, that people should still respect her because she, is dangerous. I mean, she knew, we both knew damn well that between me and her that she was the more dangerous one. She liked to joke about that.
Well, but you had gone and bought guns at this point, right?
Yes.
I mean, so was there must have been some discussion of whether this is realistic to want to use those guns. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
Okay, well, but what was the purpose of the gun? What was the purpose?
Entirely protection. Entirely and only protection.
About an hour ago when the issue of the 357 came up, you gave a kind of a detailed explanation of what kind of ammunition to use and why get a 357 and all that stuff. Where did you get that knowledge and why did you get that knowledge?
Well, these, I don't remember where exactly I got that knowledge. I think I looked it up online. Just stuff. It's not like I had any kind of gun training. The irony is that she had gun training,
You bought these guns at this pawn shop in Burien, is that right?
Yeah.
Why was the 357 in your name?
The 357 was in my name because when you pay for a handgun or any kind of firearm, I was originally going to be buying it for home, right, as a gift. But if you go and if you purchase a weapon of that type, it's in the name of the purchaser. So.
Did you go up there alone and buy it, or was she with you?
Oh no, she was with me. And I had actually said, look, I want it to be in her name. I was like, well, if you're paying for it, then it has to be in your name.
Why go over to Burien? You weren't living in Burien.
No, we weren't living in Burien at that time. I lived over in Burien at one point, and in fact, I used to drop in on this particular pawn shop on the way home from work, both from Safeway and from Burger King. And, I don't remember exactly why we had swung by there at some point, but we did, and she'd ended up meeting who I now suspect is Bruce Arnold. He was this little guy, looked like a bike rider, long white hair, kind of a big dude, and she thought this guy was great, right? Because he was an old biker type, and she thought that guy's biker type. So she thought guys like that were just really awesome. So, and
what about why get the additional guns? Or let me back up for a second. Was there any discussion when you bought the guns with any gun shop personnel about what kind of gun to get or why to get a certain type of gun?
Yeah, not on the 357, but on the 9mm actually. Because initially we were looking for a 32, which is what she was used to, because that's what her dad had and what he had trained her on. So she went there and we looked at the various, the gun case, and she didn't see any 32s, so she's like, hey, she knew that they had done that they do special models, so she had asked about getting a 32, and Mr. Arnold, I guess, had said, okay, well, 32s are basically, useless. I mean, he went and then he went off and given us a story about somebody had actually tried to rob him or attack him with a 32, had shot him several times, and it barely slowed him down. He basically ended up taking the gun and smacking the crap out of the dude with it. And so she's like, okay, well, in fact, I think I might have said, okay, well, what would you recommend, right? So he had taken down so he'd opened up a box of 32 ammunition, put a bullet down, and taken a box of 9mm ammunition, put a bullet of that down, side by side to give us some idea of, okay, a 9mm bullet is much larger than a 32 bullet, which is about the size of a BB, basically. It's really unimpressive, actually. And so she's like, okay, well, I'm worried that this will be too much recoil, and he's like, no, don't worry. People, gals get this kind of gun all the time. It's not, anybody can go off and handle these things. And she's like, oh, okay, but they have good stopping power? My question was, but they have good stopping power? Yeah, they have good stopping power. Oh, okay.
Okay, why get the shotgun then once you've got these other two weapons?
That was just me just thinking, hey, wouldn't it be nice to have a shotgun too?
You ever shoot the shotgun?
Once.
Where was that?
That one time was, in fact, the only time that we had shot any of these guns before the atrocity was actually off in a little ravine by her parents' house, and I did a test fire of each of them. So.
Okay. So taking it back for a second here, you say you get these guns for defensive purposes, but meanwhile there's all this talk of killing people. Didn't you ever think like, hey, what if these guns are used for something other than defense? Is that ever a discussion or a thought?
Not that I can say, no.
Okay, let's keep moving through this.
Okay.
I want to just highlight a couple other entries. You're still on page 5450.
Yes.
And would you start reading the entry at the bottom, read the date in, and then start reading that final entry at the bottom there?
6:65 a.m.
So is that June 6, 2005?
I don't recall which is the 6th month.
Sound right if I say, would you take my word for it that June's the 6th month of the course?
If you say it is, I would definitely take your word for yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Please
not
start.
trying to be difficult. Sorry.
Okay.
That would drive home nuts too. That would drive home nuts too if it helps any.
I'm sorry, I can't understand.
That would drive home nuts too if it would help any.
That would drive Michelle nuts also?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Well, would you start reading the entry, please?
I don't know. Sometimes. I don't know. Sometimes my only real motivation is to avoid being yelled at. The reason why gets lost when you're browbeaten enough. Whatever. I'm tired. Hard to focus, but that's what I need to do. The glass measuring cup goes by the place because it's small. I'm noting goes by the place because it's small. I'm noting this because I think it changed, but this is what I was told today.
So is that a reference to some domestic
Thing.
issue?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, if you would please turn the page to 5452.
Okay.
And I want you to look over pages 5452 to 5454. Just take a look over those for a second.
Okay.
This says instructions, page 5452.
Yeah.
Right? And then there's a list of various things that you need. Right?
Yeah.
And then there is, what, a list of how to use those materials?
Hmm?
And that list goes on to 5454. Is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
What were you building, Joe?
Well, not that I actually got around to building it all that much, but
Oh, hold on, not that you what?
not that I actually went and did much in the way of building this or anything, but these were instructions to build a silencer.
Building a silencer?
Yes.
Like for a gun?
Yes, exactly.
Did you ever use a silencer for a gun?
I never even finished building this, or got particularly far in the making of it, actually.
Well, I suspect it might be of interest to many people to know what exactly you're doing building a silencer, so why don't you tell us about that?
Well, she wanted a silencer, so it's like, but she was upset because you can't actually go off like, you know, it's...
You can't actually go off and what?
You can't actually like buy one at the store, right? So it's like, okay, well, I'll just go off and make one then. I was just trying to make her happy, so.
Okay, so give us a very brief description of what exactly you were doing and how far you got in this.
Well, the process of making a silencer is, should I really get into that right now?
You should not get into it in any detail. I'm asking you very generally.
Okay.
Is it some kind of mechanical thing that you're making or what?
It's basically you're making the mechanical process is that the silencer when a gun fires, it goes and throws off all this gas. The gas leaving the barrel after the bullet is what makes the noise. So if you would go off and like put something down to absorb the gas as it's leaving the barrel, as opposed to it just going straight out, you have a silencer.
So, but if these are guns for defensive purposes, why on earth would you need a silencer?
It's not something I would actually expect to have used. It was just something to go and, you know, here you go, here's a silencer. It's just something to make her happy.
So how far did you get in making this thing?
One of the things that you would do in making a silencer is the first. I think it might actually be step one. In fact, is you take this PVC pipe and a couple of pipe ends, and you shape down the pipe. You shape down the threading on the inside of the pipe ends, right? And then you put the pipe ends on and you screw them in place. I've gone about as far as shaping down some of the threading on the inside of the pipe ends.
And why did you stop?
Because it was really difficult.
Did you have a discussion with her about, hey, I can't do this thing, or anything like that?
No, just that it was really difficult, and it's like, can we get like a better tool for this or something, like a vise or something? She's like, no, just go off and like use, wings, and then we never went up there and did it. So.
She suggested that you use some of her dad's tools?
Yeah.
But you never did that?
No.
But she let you get away with not making this thing?
Yeah.
That was okay? I mean, she didn't let you get away with not doing other things. How did you get away with this?
Probably because it involved actually going up to Dan's workshop and walking on stuff. So.
Okay. And I want you to flip to the next page, 5455.
Okay.
And what is the date on that?
8/31/2005.
So would that be August 31, 2005?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, would you just read the first paragraph only?
I just spent 5 hours shaving the internal threads from PVC pipe. I feel less bad about spending all this time on it if it was actually done. It isn't. I have two to do with one half done. The best part is the further I get, the harder it becomes. Fuck. Sorry.
Yeah, read that next paragraph inside.
I feel like this entire life I've been being run through a wringer. I feel like this life is a joke, a punishment for a previous wicked incarnation. I died in prison, and I'm reborn a prisoner. I can't win. Maybe I should shoot for a hamster next life.
Maybe you should shoot for a hamster.
Being a hamster.
So not in the literal sense, but in the figurative sense.
No, I mean in the literal sense.
Are you talking about shooting a gun at a hamster, Joe?
No, for being a hamster.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, sorry.
So, looks like that journal entry relates to the silencer, right?
Yeah.
So it's safe to conclude that happened at the end of August 2005?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, now let's flip to the next page, and I recognize we're getting close to the morning break time here, so let's do a little bit more. Flip to the next page, 5456.
5456, yes.
Okay. Now, that says, what is the date in the middle of the page?
935.
So would that be September 3, 2005?
I think so.
Using common nomenclature,
Yeah.
9/3/2005 would be September 3.
Yeah. No, the reason I'm saying I think so is because I kind of looked at the
Well, I'm going
next
to ask you to
line.
read it, so
Yeah.
we're going to get to that. What is the first line in that entry?
Counting down to the 4th of July again.
So counting down to the 4th of July again does not suggest that it is September, does it?
No, no, it doesn't.
Maybe if it's the 3rd, maybe it's July the 3rd?
It might be.
Okay, so we're not sure of the date on that, is that right?
Yeah.
Did you have concerns about the 4th of July?
Very strong
2005?
concern. Yeah, very strong concerns about that, yeah.
Various concerns?
Very strong concerns, actually.
What were your strong concerns?
The strong concerns is that you would have people using fireworks to like try and set that place on fire, right? Or to,
You were living in Fall City in the summer of '05,
yes,
and this was a single-wide trailer
yes,
in a mobile home park?
yes.
I mean, what evidence, if any, do you have that anybody was actually trying to set your trailer on fire?
What did we really have? Nothing, actually. Just concerns doubts. I mean, we won't. This might sound absurd now, but we were living in constant fear. This might sound absurd now, but we were living in constant fear, constant dread. It was a very pins and needles situation all the time. We were always looking out the window, and anytime we heard a sound, it would be, okay, what's going on? Anytime somebody drove by, it's like, okay, who is that? What's their license plate number? You know, what are they doing? Anytime somebody walked by,
What's that?
anytime somebody walked by or walked across the line, okay, what are they doing?
But this is a trailer park, right? I mean, it's not, nobody has it 1 acre apiece or anything.
Yeah, well, like I said, she wasn't.
Hold on. They do have 1 acre apiece? Or
No, no, they don't.
What are the sizes of the lots, roughly?
I'd say typically about twice the size of the trailers themselves.
Okay. So, and these are single-wide trailers or double
Yeah,
wide?
these are single wides
Okay.
in general.
Why don't you read, Joe, page 5456, starting at the bottom, the final paragraph, and going on to
Okay.
the next page, starting with unfortunately.
Unfortunately, despite house fires and injuries, fireworks are still legal here. So, this year too, I'm hanging out with a fire extinguisher in one hand and a revolver in the other. Which is not very smart if you think about it. I'm not cool with my house being set on fire because a dumbass wanted to watch the pretty lights. Why don't these people just go to a show? They're a hell of a lot more interesting and generally free to boot. They're a hell of a lot more interesting and generally free to boot.
So, you're concerned about fires,
Hmm?
there's fireworks going off,
Yeah.
it's the 4th of July,
Yeah.
you're hanging out with a fire extinguisher in one hand, right?
Yeah.
And a
Not literally in one hand, but
at hand.
at hand, yes.
And you've got a revolver either in hand or at hand.
At hand, yes.
I get the fire extinguisher part. What's the revolver for?
Just in case somebody goes and uses the explosions of fireworks as cover for shooting.
Okay, I'm going to have some more questions about this. I want to finish this before the break with a brief question. And that is something Dr. Dutton referred to.
Yes.
When you lived in Falls City, there was some kind of elaborate procedure for getting into the truck.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Would you tell us what this was and why?
Well, the whole idea was to keep people from knowing if we were there or not. So,
Well, what's the big deal with people knowing whether you're there?
if they don't know if we're there or not, then the assumption would have to be that we're probably there, because we would leave on the bathroom, like, you know, just as a security measure, because we were just very concerned that these people would break in or whatever while we were out.
Did you have a lot of valuables there or something?
Everything we had.
But your possessions, right?
Yeah, you know, I mean,
It wasn't like there was stacks of cash or something.
no, I mean, we didn't even have jewelry, no.
You didn't what?
We didn't have jewelry or stacks of cash or any of that stuff laying around.
Okay, so the concern is people not knowing you're there. Please go ahead.
So, we would, what we would do is, first she would go and check to see if anybody's out. If anybody was out, we'd just leave it off until later on, right?
Hold on. This is talking about getting in the truck, so what do you mean she's going to check if anyone's out?
She would open up the door, look around, see if anybody's out there.
Anybody's milling around the trailer
Yeah,
park?
or looking out the window or anything. Okay? So if anybody's out, then we're just going to put it off until later. If nobody's out, then she's going to open up. Then she opens up the door, goes out to the truck, and meanwhile I'm standing over by the door, which is partially open, and I'm waiting for her to open up the truck and waiting for her to get over to the truck and open it up. As soon as she's got the truck open, I close the door, lock it.
Hold on. You close the door to the trailer and lock it?
Yeah. But first I go off and make sure that there's still nobody out there, that the coast is still clear. So once that's clear, once I've established that, I close the door, lock it, and run quickly over behind the, we go down the stairs, run over behind the stairs, and wedge in between the truck and the sidewall. It was only about a foot.
Hold on. Wedge in between the truck and the what?
And the wall of the trailer.
So the truck is parked close to the trailer?
About this far away, about a foot.
About a foot away?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I wedge my way down there and make my way quickly down to the side door, so that when she opens, so that as she's getting in, I'm getting in as well, right? Then we go and close the doors at the same time.
Why?
So that nobody would hear two doors closing. If they heard two doors, that way it would sound like only one door's closing. So they would think that only she was gone, as opposed to me, as opposed to both of us. Then once those were closed, I would duck down so that no one would see me until we had actually gotten out of the immediate area of the trailer park, at which point I would sit up.
You duck down in the car?
Yeah, truck.
How often did you use this procedure to leave?
Every time.
For the whole time you lived there?
Pretty much.
Okay, and then once you went out, you could sit up, is that it?
Yeah.
And you would go wherever you're going to go, work or grocery store or something?
Yeah, we had to be back. We usually try to be back before dark, though. Just because before dark, because that's when people start coming back from work, and we don't want them to notice that, I was out or whatever.
And so then when you come back, how do you go back into the trailer?
But the exact same way. What I would do is, we'd stop, we'd pull over, we'd stop, I'd open up the door, get out, run over to the door. So I'd run over to the trailer door, and of course we would go and park as close to the wall as possible. I would run out, go up there, open up the door, go in, do a quick sweep to go make sure that the place was clear, and then I'd come back and...
A quick sweep, like with a broom? What are you talking about?
Quick running around with a knife to go off, make sure that everything was, that nobody had, broken in and was waiting for us.
Like a safety sweep, like the police do?
Yeah, exactly. Safety sweep. And then once I'd made sure that everything was clear, I'd go back out. This would only take about 30 seconds of that. By this time, she'd open up the door and was, starting to get out. And so I'd go off watch to make sure that she would get out and unload the plate, unload or whatever, safely, and then get inside safely.
Distance from her driver's door to the trailer door that she had to traverse safely?
I'd say about the length from where you're standing to about where I'm standing.
What, maybe 15 feet?
Something like that. Not quite straight, but yeah. Because it involved going stairs. So yeah.
Okay, thank you. May we take a break here, Your Honor? Certainly.